What kind of a manager and professional do we want to become? The purpose of our entire course is not just clearing the interviews but succeed at a corporate job. And so long as you don't have the dual blend of becoming a great manager and an inspirational leadership professional, it's difficult to get great success. So there are various competencies of leaderships, but today let me focus on one. And this is about the art of inspiring and managing people. So let me tell you a very old story which happened in the jungle. So a wood cutting company used to run a huge operation. And they had a very hard-working manager who used to manage a lot of people who used to be hired to cut wood. Above him was a general manager who was always there to supervise but would never come in the front. So the two of them, the GM and the manager, were taking care of the entire wood cutting empire for the owners and for the management. So once upon a time they took a special forest which they had to cut the logs at a high speed. And what they did was they hired a new bunch of young, powerful, strong woodcutters. Really strong boys with powerful muscles, and they gave them targets. You have to cut these many trees every day. In particular, the hard-working manager would go to the field every day, and he would pay great attention to how good and how well are they cutting the trees. So he was known to be a real disciplinarian person. If somebody was cutting the trees, he would be very happy, but if somebody was absent, he would be very angry. So very soon he came to know two very prominent people. There was one woodcutter who would be cutting wood every day. He would report in the morning at 6 o'clock and keep on cutting, keep on slogging, working hard up until late in the night. So the manager was very happy. This is the hard-working woodcutter. On the other hand, he started noticing within a matter of just a few days that there was another woodcutter who was half of the time absent. For the first few days, this second woodcutter was coming many times, but after a few days, the second woodcutter started coming lesser and lesser. So the manager got very angry. He felt, we have the whole forest to cut, and one of them is working so hard, and the other one is such an absent woodcutter, he's not there half of the time. So he made a resolve. I am going to terminate him immediately. No nonsense under me. So the hard-working manager took a decision, I am going to fire him. But he thought, there is my boss above me, so let me consult with my boss. So that night he went to the office of the general manager and said, boss, I have two woodcutters. One of them is a very hard woodcutter. He cuts wood from say 6 o'clock in the morning till like 6 in the night. The other guy, he comes, then disappears. He comes, then disappears. I don't know whether he's going to movies or whether he's going for entertainment or what. So I want to fire that person immediately. So do I have your permission? So the sagacious general manager said, listen, I have noted your concern. They've just joined. Let's give them a few more weeks and we will review this after the first month is over. Taking any action very recklessly could be very harmful. So although the hard-working manager was not happy, but he respected his boss. He said, all right, sir, as you say, we will review after 1 month. Now everybody in his team thought that after 1 month, the hard-working woodcutter would have cut so many trees that he would be the star. And on the other hand, the absent woodcutter would have been doing so pathetic that numbers would speak for itself. And he would be fired. But my dear students, can you guess what happened? Exactly the opposite, because after a few weeks, the hard-working woodcutter's results started declining. He started with 20 trees and gradually came down to 15, then 10 trees a day, and finally wasn't even able to cut 2 or 3 a day. On the other hand, the absent woodcutter his productivity started shooting up. He was doing about 15 in the beginning, then gradually, even though he was working half of the time, he was cutting more than 30 trees. So the hard-working manager was absolutely perplexed. But then he recollected the words of the sagacious general manager and went to him. He literally had tears of shame in his eyes that, oh, I was so reckless in my judgment, and he asked that, sir, how were you so visionary to find that the absent woodcutter was actually someone who's doing a great job? How did you find it out? Because now the numbers are clear. The woodcutter who was working from 6 o'clock in the morning till 6 o'clock in the night, his productivity has fallen so low that it's better to fire him immediately. On the other hand, the woodcutter whom I think was absent is now working such wonderful results that we should actually promote him. So please tell me, what is the secret of your vision? And the answer which the sagacious general manager gave is a very vital balance of a great professional plus a great leader. So he told him 3 things. Number 1, all that is visible in front of your eyes is most often not true. So the first rule of leadership is that you have to investigate, fact find, because whatever is being visible in front of your eyes may not be the real picture. And the guy was very surprised. He said, no, what was the real picture then? He said, the absent woodcutter was absent not because he was having fun, because he was spending that time going to an ironsmith to sharpen his axe. So the second important life principle to be a successful professional is, you will take certain skills and get going to work. But if, like the hard-working woodcutter, you are just using those skills again and again, in a matter of almost no time, those skills will get expired. They will become the blunt axe which won't cut the trees. So in order to be a great inspirational professional, you have to continuously add on new skills. English oration, public speaking, Python, coding, quantitative investing, strategic HR advisory. It's not the end of education when your corporate journey starts, but it is actually the beginning of a journey to learn more. So like that absent woodcutter, if you are spending that percentage of time sharpening your axe, you can never ever be defeated in the life. However, now the young manager was very curious. He said, sir, I got 2 important lessons. Number 1, don't believe what you see. So investigate, because there is something happening which we should as leaders try to find out. Number 2, always keep sharpening your axe. Because before you know, with a dull axe, you could be losing, because whatever you learned is now no longer relevant. However, sir, you had said there are 3 lessons. What is the 3rd lesson? And the 3rd lesson is probably the most crucial lesson of leaders, that quite often in life, you will get situations which look a very open and shut case. Very open and shut case, that we should fire the lazy or the absent woodcutter and we should promote the hard-working woodcutter. However, in order to become a sagacious leader, the final mantra is the art of knowing when to give people more chance of time and not to be impulsive and instinctive in your reactions. Because quite often, if we are very impulsive, we may have the risk of turning to become reckless. So from that sagacious visionary general manager's learnings, I wish to conclude today's story by giving you 3 important lessons. An inspirational leader knows what is visible in front of the eyes is not necessarily true. Just because somebody is not visible doesn't mean he or she is not working. So find the fact, analyze very accurately, give them strategic solutions, and be a tactful transformer. Number 2, make sure that you're constantly self-transforming. Because like the case of Gangaputra Bhishma tells us, that even if you are immortal, You may not be invincible so long as you are not ready to self-transform. Find that axe which you hold and sharpen it. It could be English, it could be public speaking, it could be coding, it could be marketing, it could be a PhD after your MBA. Are you sharpening the axe? Are you ready to self-transform? And finally, in order to become a great leader of future, never ever be impulsive in your decision making. Give time to people, think deep, and then take an action. So in order to build your great corporate journeys ahead, follow these 3 mantras, and I can assure you that just like the sagacious general manager, you will build a great cadre of people who will follow your vision and make it successful. Because please remember, we all can be great men, but we cannot be supermen. We can be great women, but we can't be superwomen. So it's important for leaders to have teams and motivate them to make it big. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you.